The three main bursas that protect the hip region. First one is iliopectineal, second one is the superficial trochanteric bursa, and the third one is your deep trochanteric bursa. So as we look at our skeleton, our iliopectineal actually protects this joint here from our main hip flexor, which is our iliacus and psoas major, which converge to join. So our iliacus comes off the iliacus fossa, and our psoas major comes off these spiny bits in the bottom of the rib there, spiny bits off the spine, our transverse processes, and it comes down, passes underneath the inguinal ligament, which sits across there, comes down, and it attaches to the lesser trochanter and just below it. So psoas major goes to the lesser trochanter, our iliacus comes down and just attaches just inferior to the lesser trochanter. So as it passes down there, they would actually be bending around that joint, so they would be rubbing on that part of the ball and socket joint. So we have our iliopectineal bursa sac that sits there, so it keeps the muscle off the bone. So that's our first one. Then we have our superficial trochanteric bursa, and that sits on the outside edge of the greater trochanter. Again, we have a muscle that's coming off the iliac crest. So we've got our tensor fascia lata, and it comes down and spans across to here and then converges into the IT band to run down the leg. So there's a bursa sac there that protects this area here from the other muscles that are around converging there from banging onto it. Again, you can injure that by direct trauma straight onto it, if that's the case, or you've increased your exercise intensity too quickly. By reducing your exercise down, it'll ease this pressure here and allow it to go back down. A little bit of ice on there as well. It's generally a too much too soon or a direct impact onto it. That in itself, very easily treated. The client will probably give you symptoms of them having a bit of pain on the outside of the hip. Whereas when you get deep trochanteric bursitis, this bursa sac sits right inside here on the top of the greater trochanter to protect the tensor fascia lata muscle from the bone itself. Your client will generally be experiencing pain and it'll feel deep inside the hip. Again, direct trauma falling on your hip, or that the client again has increased exercise intensity far too quickly too soon. So the only problem with this one is because when it feels deep inside the hip, you have to stop all activity altogether. So they are your bursas of the hip.